In this lesson, you'll learn how expository and reflective essays differ, what markers give each one away, and how to structure your response with confidence. One asks you to explain a topic clearly and objectively. The other asks you to examine an experience and show what you learned from it. We'll work through features, signal words, structures, examples, and the mistakes that most often blur the line between the two. An expository essay explains, describes, or clarifies a topic. Its job is to inform the reader, not convince them to agree with you. That means your tone stays neutral. You're showing how something works, what it means, or how parts of a topic connect. Watch for task words like explain, describe, outline, discuss, summarize, and analyze when the question is asking for information rather than argument. If the prompt says explain the stages of mitosis, you're mapping the process. You're not arguing whether mitosis is important. A good test is simple. If your reader can learn the topic clearly from your essay without hearing your personal stance, you're in expository territory. Most expository essays open by defining the topic and setting the scope. This tells the reader exactly what will be explained. From there, each body paragraph handles one clear part of the explanation, like a subtopic, a stage in a process, or a category within the whole. The order matters. You might move from simple to complex, from cause to effect, or from one step to the next. What you don't do is wander between points. Each paragraph should build the reader's understanding in a clean sequence. Then the conclusion brings the explanation together by summarizing the main insight in neutral language without adding a new opinion at the end. Let's make this practical with two worked examples from university subjects. In biology, a prompt might ask you to explain how enzymes affect reaction rates. That's an informative task focused on mechanism and conditions. In clinical psychology, you might be asked to describe the symptoms and diagnostic features of a disorder. Again, the goal is accurate explanation, not opinion. If the task were argumentative, the wording would shift toward evaluate, justify, or to what extent. Expository prompts stay on informing the reader. The most common expository mistake is quietly switching from explanation into persuasion. You might start by describing a theory, then suddenly claim it's clearly the best approach without being asked to argue that point. That shift changes the task. Instead of helping the reader understand, you're now trying to win them over. When the prompt asks for explanation or description, keep your language neutral and let clarity do the work. Now the expectation flips. Reflective writing is not about standing outside the topic with a neutral voice. Instead, you're expected to step into the experience, use first person where appropriate, and analyze what that experience taught you. So the question is no longer only what happened or what something means. It's also how you understood it, responded to it, and changed because of it. A reflective essay examines an experience, idea, or practice through your own learning and response. It's personal, but it still needs academic control. You're not just telling a story. You're showing how you interpreted the experience and why that interpretation matters. Common task words include reflect on, discuss your experience, evaluate your learning, analyze your response, and consider what you would do differently. First-person language usually belongs here because your thinking is part of the evidence. What matters is whether that thinking is honest, critical, and well-explained. In other words, a reflective essay asks you to turn experience into insight. A useful way to structure a reflective essay is Gibbs' cycle because it moves you from experience to meaning and then to action. You begin by framing the experience and giving a brief description. This part sets the context, but it should stay concise. Next comes analysis. This is where you unpack why events unfolded as they did, what assumptions shaped your response, and what theories help explain it. Then you evaluate the experience by judging what worked, what didn't, and what that reveals about your practice or understanding. Strong reflection doesn't stop there. It turns insight into a plan for future action, so the essay shows development rather than just memory. That final move is important in subjects like psychology, teaching, and healthcare, where reflective writing often connects directly to professional growth. So even when the structure starts with an event, the real center of gravity is the thinking that follows. Here's the biggest lesson in reflective writing. Description should support the essay, but analysis should dominate it. If half the essay is just retelling what happened, the marker still doesn't know what you learned, what you understood, or how your thinking changed. A useful visual rule is this: keep description brief and give most of your space to interpretation, evaluation, and action. Imagine two students describe the same placement experience. The stronger essay is the one that explains why the moment mattered and what it revealed. That means asking questions like, what assumptions was I making? What theory helps me understand this? And what would I change next time? Markers reward insight, not polish alone. A beautifully written diary entry still falls short if the thinking stays on the surface. So when you're drafting a reflective essay, treat description as the doorway and analysis as the room where the marks are won. If your reader finishes knowing the event but not your reasoning, you've described the experience without truly reflecting on it. Let's apply that to a reflective prompt in clinical psychology. You might be asked to reflect on a client interaction from placement and analyze what it taught you about empathy, boundaries, or communication. A weak response sounds polished but safe. It describes the session neatly while avoiding what felt difficult, uncertain, or personally revealing. A stronger response admits the tension, examines the reaction, connects it to theory, and shows how future practice would change because of that insight. To bring it all together, expository essays explain a topic with objective, organized information, while reflective essays analyze experience through personal insight and critical thinking. If you want to review these differences, revisit sections 3 and 4 of the Essay Types Guide, and compare slides 7 and 8 in Essay Types at a glance before the next lesson. Keep asking yourself whether the task wants explanation or reflection. That one question will help you choose the right voice, structure, and evidence every time. You're now ready to spot the difference and write each essay type with much more control. In the next lesson, you'll build on this by applying these distinctions to real assignment questions.